Hi, it's Marlene, and this is the meditation about grief and sadness. Deep, overwhelming sadness. It's been a little bit of time since you've lost your loved one, since they have left their body and left your life. It's been more than a few days and more than a few weeks now. It's probably been about a month or more, and you're still overwhelmed by incapacitating sadness. And this meditation is going to be about how to self-comfort and move through this and bring warmth back into yourself. And of course, how to move into and not be afraid of reconnecting with your loved one who has left the body. And I do talk a lot about that. And if you're not ready to hear about that yet, this may not be the best meditation, because we will be talking about it. Because it is a sure way to release the sadness for now. To say those things that got left unsaid. And feel those things that didn't get felt. And share those things, those last few things, those last few words and emotions that you would like your loved one to know you feel. So we're going to get into a comfortable space. And because you're so sad, this is the meditation that you should probably lay down and listen to while you're in bed. You don't need to be perfect and sit up right now. You can just lay down and get your pillows and your blanket and snuggle deep into yourself where you've learned how to self-nurture from the early grief meditation. And this is the time to really settle in. You can lay on your side, all snuggled up, and you can be crying and it's totally fine. There is absolutely no problem with tears. Tears is the heart's way of cleansing itself from the burden of really heavy emotions that have been suppressed for a long time. And maybe leading up to this person's passing, there was a long period of illness or a long period of time where the two of you didn't agree, or even a period of separation, or even estrangement. But that's all gone now. You can release all that now. And everyone said before, the person that you lost is not suffering. And amends are being made, and that's so true. And that may or may not bring comfort to you. And I'm not going to hover around that, because that's something that gets said and gets heard a lot. Right now we're going to focus in on you, on your feelings. And I want you to move into the sadness, and you've probably been feeling it and crying for quite some time. There may be periods of the day where you're just deeply immersed in grief and sobbing, and it just seems overwhelmingly painful, and it can come on so suddenly. And one moment you could be fine, you could be functioning and doing what you need to do, and then another moment you're not, and you don't know why. Something reminds you, something strikes a chord, a nerve, because your heart and your solar plexus and your mind and everything about you, your aura, is so raw from this early loss. You are so vulnerable. You haven't begun to adjust to this new life. You didn't expect to not have this person with you right now, or maybe you're alone because you lost your lover, your boyfriend or girlfriend, or husband or wife, or you've lost your dearly beloved child, the most special person to you on the face of the earth, or your best friend, or your parent who you spent your entire life with and had a great relationship with, or didn't, or it was a troubled relationship. And you feel very tortured and tormented by that, and that's okay. It's okay to release all that and continue to release all that. It only becomes problematic when it impairs your functioning and you can't do normal things like care for yourself, cook food, and take care of your hygiene, and get to work and be able to function on your job after a few weeks to a month, and it's not possible to function up to the level that you functioned before the person passed. People need to be understanding of that, and you need to give yourself a little time, a little bit more time, because you might be moving slower and you might need more breaks, and that's okay. You're human. You just need to communicate that to who you need to communicate it to. And emotionally intelligent people will understand. Or perhaps you just need some time off if they don't. There's nothing wrong with taking a few weeks off if you've lost a really close loved one. And perhaps if this sadness has gone on too long, several months to a year, and it's becoming the complex grief, perhaps maybe it's time to talk to your doctor or your therapist or your grief counselor. And maybe you need to explore the option of an antidepressant, and that's totally fine. Just allow yourself. Or if you've already been on them, maybe you need an increase in them, an increase in the dosage, and that's fine too. Allow yourself to be human. This is a terrible loss you're experiencing, a life-altering loss, which can be debilitating, and it can cause your processing to be slowed down, your thought processing, your ability to think and take in new information and respond realistically and make decisions could possibly be impaired. And don't feel shame for this. This is normal. This is part of the grief process. Your brain simply shut down because you could be traumatized by the loss of this person. And that might make you even sadder, and it's okay. That's a sign that you love yourself and you allow yourself and you're letting go into this reality. And understand yourself and read about grief. And have your grief counselor explain it to you. And if you don't have one, if you've been this sad for this long, it's definitely time to reach out and get grief counseling. And it takes time to find the right support group or the right person. Even those services aren't easy to get to. They're not easy to schedule, but they're so important. And there's online groups as well. And even listening to my voice. But just allow your sadness. This time you can cry, you can feel it. You're not numb anymore. You can cry now at least. You're releasing. It's the people who can't release, the people who can't feel their sadness, who are too afraid, who are stuck in anger and stifled grief, and who feel so numb they can't feel. That's when their development becomes arrested and they can't move forward. They're simply frozen in time. Now you've moved through this now. Now you're in the sadness stage, which is deeper and further into your grief journey now. You're getting closer to when you're coming out on the other end and beginning to feel moments of happiness and neutrality. From this sadness, we're only looking for times during the day that you feel neutral. You don't have to be happy, and you don't have to be chipper, and you don't have to be smiling, and you don't have to be telling jokes. Or you can if you're that kind of a person. You can laugh 1 minute and cry the next, and it's totally fine. You can go in the bathroom and cry at work. You can cry your entire commute in your car and your entire way home. And you can ask your emotions. You can ask yourself. You can ask the universe. If you believe in God, you can ask God to help you stop so that you can work, so that you can prepare dinner, so that you can care for your children, so that you can go to the gym. Boy, that really helps. That raises endorphins. If you haven't done that, you need to do that. Raise those endorphins. That's a survival skill. And ask the universe and ask yourself to simply suspend your grief for a few hours. And you can schedule it in. You can schedule it in your crying time. You can take the dog for a walk and cry. And it's okay. And you can feel bad for yourself. It's okay. And you can miss this person so bad. But I want you to know, and this is the part, that when you miss that person so bad, they might be missing you. Because they're also grieving. They may have left their body, but they have not disappeared. Their spirit is still very much alive, and their spirit may be with you. Their spirit may be helping you grieve, and their spirit may get sad from watching you suffer so much over their loss. They may not have realized how deeply and how much you love them. It may bring them comfort, but it may bring them grief and sadness as they transition, and they grieve the loss of their earthly life. And they grieve the loss, and you grieve the loss, that you're not together in this role anymore. You may have had a great life together. It may have been filled with happiness and moments of joy and adventures, and it may have been filled with passion and even anger and explosions as you both got out your emotions of how you felt about each other. You may have really lived your relationship. You may have really been through some shit together. You may have really done this life well. Or you may have been distant from this person and now you realize just how much you love them. And you may be so sad over the missed moments. And if you have been, now this is the opportune time where you can experience this now with them. And when you feel so sad, I want you to get yourself to a place where you can get a notebook, and I want you to keep a notebook handy. I want you to get a notebook to journal to your loved one and put their picture right in it, and a special pen, and even the little pamphlet from their funeral with their picture and the words that you all put together about saying goodbye. And in this journal, you're going to write to them whatever it is that you're thinking and feeling. You're going to begin to write to them. You may write and write and write. And when you stop writing out your feelings, you're going to stop and you're going to listen. And you might just hear their words back as if they're saying them, and then you're going to write those words in response. And you're going to write through this incredible, intense stage of the grief process, the overwhelming, incapacitating sadness. You're going to write through it. You're going to feel through it. And when you're journaling and when you're moving through this journey this part of your grief journey, you're going to begin to feel your sadness lifting. And you can talk about some of the things that you've discovered when you get to grief support, or if you're already in it. And you can share some of the things with the people around you who are also suffering. And you can encourage them to journal as well. Anything and everything will help get through this. And it's going to take time. It may take 6 months to a year. And if you feel very alone in your sadness, in your overwhelming grief, if you feel lonely, and if you're getting months and months in, 6 months to a year, and if you're getting ready to wanting to feel the closeness again of another person in the body, to feel some emotional intimacy with, and I know you may not near be there, but if you are, you can actually ask your departed loved one to help you find someone or bring you closer to someone. A surrogate parent will strengthen the relationship with another child, or become open to the abundance of the universe to send a special friend or even a lover to help you transition through this sadness. You'd be amazed what souls will come forward from your soul family, or what soul relationships that you might have that will be strengthened through this incredible journey of grief. As you go inside the depths of your soul and you realize how deeply you can love another human being, and now another soul, and how closely connected you can get through this journaling process. And in another meditation, we're going to explore actually connecting with this person, actually calling them in when you feel strong and you're not fearful, and you feel a little bit more grounded, and you want any contact with them and you're open to that. When you're hoping they'll just call or they'll just text, or you see someone who looks like them walking and you swear it's them and you speed up. Now you're getting close to wanting to make some contact. And there are different people who can help you move through this, and I can help you in another meditation. But right now we're just going to sit with your sadness, and you're going to self-nurture and allow yourself to cry, to release it, to continue to release it, to go deep inside of it and release it, to love yourself through this. And in another meditation, or simply a discussion, we'll go over just a few techniques, a few suggestions, but not right now. Just allow your sadness. The more you feel it, the more you'll move through it. The closer you're getting to the other side, where the sadness is only few and far between. A song that reminds you of your loved one. Once a week, a movie, stumbling across an old photograph, a person with the same name, and you may cry for only a few moments, and that's normal. You may get to a point that you'll be happy, and you'll feel intense joy, and an enlivened memory of your loved one. You'll get this far. It may take time, but you'll get there. You will get there. Mark my words. You'll get there. You'll get through this. You will, because you're building resilience. Your heart loves so much. It's so soft and vulnerable. It can't break. It's too soft. It's like clay. It's sobbing through the hardness, and it's softening. A beautiful, vulnerable, soft heart can't break. It loves itself, and it grows. And it's getting ready to love again. If you can believe this or not. And as you release the sadness, as you allow yourself to release it, your heart is going to feel love and happiness and connectedness again with yourself and with the loved ones who are still around you. You will be able to reconnect and enjoy all of your relationships again. And I hope I'm here with you while you do. And I would love to hear about your journey. You can write to me when I get my website up. And remember, for me, it's only been a year and 2 months. And I lost the love of my life. And sometimes I get sad too. But if there are 24 hours in a day, 23 of them I spend happy. So happy that I had the opportunity to love another soul this deeply. And I'm so happy for you that you did also. That's something to be proud of. Now you fall asleep now. You fall asleep in peace. You fall asleep in the dream and the dimension of the reconnection with your loved one. And you can ask them to come into your dreams, and they will and they can. Even for a fleeting moment, and it can bring you such joy. And I want you to experience that. Go in peace. Release. And when it's time, you'll find happiness again.